Hi guys, and welcome back to Sarah Katie Reads. Today I want to talk about the books I read the past month in June. So it will be my June reading wrap-up. First I read Aarti, An American Kitchen with an Indian Soul. Yes, this is a cookbook. I actually really love reading cookbooks, particularly ones that have personal essays, anecdotes before the recipes, and she has both. And the whole book is just really warm and colorful and just really nice. And I love all of her recipes. I want to make everything in here. I've actually already made the cucumber salad and it was delicious, full of mango and cucumber and serrano chili peppers. Pro tip, if you after you mince up the serrano chili pepper, and even if you've washed your hands a whole bunch of times, don't touch your eyes. Don't be like me. Skip the pain. But I really, really did love this cookbook. And Aarti Sequeira, she was the winner, I think, of the first season of Food Network Star, 2010, I believe, and she had a really fun YouTube cooking show called Aarti Party Quick Bites, and I really, really loved those. And I kind of want to be her friend, and I want her to cook for me. I would make her banana bread. I make really good banana bread. But yeah, I loved this entire cookbook, and she even has me wanting to try her Brussels sprouts. So I feel like that's saying something. So Aarti Party, An American Kitchen with an Indian Soul. I give this 4 out of 5 stars. Quick note, I have devised a star rating system for me. It can be so subjective, but look, I put it on a Star Wars Stormtrooper piece of notepaper, so it's serious. So 1 star is nope. Nope, nope, nope. Not for me. 2 stars would be meh. Just not into it. 3 is I liked it. It was decent. It was average. I enjoyed it, and I would probably recommend it. 4 out of 5 stars will be like I loved it. It was wonderful, and I can't recommend it enough. So heart eyes. I loved it. And 5 stars. 5 stars is life-changing. I don't think I often give books 5 stars in my own head in my rating system, but every once in a while there is that one that comes along that blows you away. So that's kind of how I tend to rate things. Obviously everybody is different with how they go about that, and they're just my own opinions, so we might not agree. Something I don't like, you may love, so you know, that's cool. That's just how it is. Next book I read was Relax, It's Just God, How and Why to Talk to Your Kids About Religion When You Are Not Religious, Wendy Thomas Russell. Now, this author is an atheist, and I come from a religious background, but this book is for everybody. It doesn't matter what sort of belief system you're coming from or not coming from. This book is just so full of wonderful, useful, everyday sorts of tips. How to make the subject of God and religion and spirituality, how to make it not taboo, and how to have productive conversations with your kids or other people, because it can be a really tough subject to talk about, and there's so much emotion and energy wrapped up in these sorts of things that I think this is a really helpful sort of guide to have. And I'm planning on going back and reading through this, and lots of sticky notes, highlighter, underlining, because it is just so wonderful. I'm going to use it for my own kids and just for people in general. Plus it has super awesome kind of like a cheat sheet in the back section about different major world religions and holidays, ways of celebrating. This book, I just found it to be really, it's invaluable. And actually my mom loaned it to me, and I was maybe I was like 40 pages into it, and I was just like, I have to have my own copy. So I ordered it and I got it in 2 days because I wasn't sure if she really wanted me marking up her copy, and I just wanted to have it on my own shelves for reference. Maybe one of the best ways, like when I read this book, one of the things that popped into my mind was it's kind of teaching you, the Will Wheaton law, how not to be a dick. Like this book is great. So I can't recommend this one enough. Relax. It's just God. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. This was fantastic. I need to start saving up money so I can buy it for everybody for Christmas. Seriously, check this book out. Next up, I read Hark, a Vagrant by Kate Beaton. This is her second collection of comics. I came across her stuff, oh gosh, years ago, and I don't remember if it was like my best friend who introduced me to her website or if I just somehow stumbled across it, but she is a hilarious cartoonist, and she has the best jokes, and it's full of literary references and history and cultural stuff, and just funny stuff that's happened in her own life as well. She is a young woman. Actually, I think she's about my age, or maybe a year or two older. She's Canadian, and she writes a lot about Canadian history in these comics, actually, which I love because I know nothing about it. We don't really ever hear about Canadian history down here in our school system. So I feel like I've learned a lot just from reading her comics, and I always laugh so hard. So yeah, I always feel like I learned so much from her comics, and I end up having to look up a lot of the things she references because I haven't heard about it before. So I love her stuff. This is the second collection of her work. I actually got to meet her at Emerald City Comic Con several years ago now, and she, in her other book I have of hers, she drew me a little comic of her fat pony. Fat Pony is hilarious, and she was just really nice. So Hark, a Vagrant by Kate Beaton, 4 out of 5 stars. Seriously, go get this one or go to the library. It's really funny and I love it. Next up, I read The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell. This is actually a reread for me. I first read this about 8 years ago, and it completely blew my mind. It was lyrical. The prose is beautiful. And it was really important to me at the time. It really spoke to me. I was taking some classes and stuff that related a lot to this, so the timing was perfect. It's about what happens when we come into contact with an alien civilization for the first time. It's a first contact story, and I guess you could describe it. When I started reading this, I could only think Jesuits in space. So we go out looking. Once we come across the signal from the other planet, we go to them. There's a Jesuit mission that is launched, and so it's about theology, the misunderstandings between cultures, what we think we know, what we don't know, how even with the best of intentions, things don't always go to plan. And I absolutely love this book. I really, really recommend it. And I would give The Sparrow 5 out of 5 stars. Also, Mary Doria Russell came to Seattle last summer, and I wasn't able to make it. I was so bummed. I was giantly pregnant, and it was super hot and miserable out, and I just couldn't get out of the house in the evening. But I think she's going to be at a local university later this year, like in November. So I'm going to try and go see her if I can, because I would love to hear her speak. So The Sparrow, Mary Doria Russell. Next up, I read Meet Felicity. It's the first book in the Meet Felicity, or the Felicity series of American Girl stories, and this was a reread for me. One of the squares on my summer book bingo that I'm doing is reread a book from your childhood, so I chose Meet Felicity. This book was a really big deal for me, this whole series, when I was probably about 9 or 10. I absolutely loved these, and it kind of started and spurred a lifelong love of colonial Williamsburg and colonial American history. It's just something I've always been super interested in since being introduced to these books. I still have my Felicity doll, but she's packed away right now because I don't have a good spot to put her out and display her. So it was really fun rereading this, and it really brought back some good childhood memories. And I think if I get some time, because I mean, this only took like, half an hour to read through. It's pretty small. I'll reread the rest of the series too when I get a chance, because it was a lot of fun. Meet Felicity, an American Girl, Book 1 by Valerie Tripp. They're some of my favorites from when I was a kid. So if you haven't tried these, look them up. They're fun. Meet Felicity, I would give this 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, I read Divergent by Veronica Roth. Unpopular opinion time. I know a lot of people love this book. It was recommended to me by a good friend who really enjoyed this book as well. I didn't like it. I just didn't. And I feel kind of bad because I wanted to like it, and I had a really hard time getting into it. And ultimately, I really didn't get into it. I kind of just made myself get to the end because it was a quick read, so I just wanted to finish. Another kind of dystopic, post-apocalyptic, young adult novel. The romance between the main characters felt really forced to me. I didn't really understand why they liked each other. And I could never fully visualize the world she was trying to create. Like, it just, I couldn't get a feel for it, and I just didn't like it. Again, unpopular opinion. I know a lot of people love this, but I just wasn't for me. Was not for me. So I gave Divergent by Veronica Roth 2 stars. So meh, not for me. I just couldn't do it. So I won't be reading the next books in this series. I just not gonna do it. So Divergent, Veronica Roth. And lastly this month, or for the month of June, I finished reading The Planets by Deva Sobel. I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing her name right, but anyway. And when I picked this up off the library shelves on the sole basis of the pretty cover, and it's about the planets, I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I figured it would be kind of like a technical, scientific overview of our solar system. And there was a little bit of that, but it wasn't really entirely what I was expecting or even hoping for. It felt more like a personal collection of essays and how the author related to them. And there was a lot of history and science and facts in it, but just the way it all wove together, it just didn't do it for me for whatever reason. And I'm still trying to pinpoint why that was, because the prose was beautiful. I know she has been praised as being a good author, a science writer as well. And this is the first book I've ever read of hers. And I was kind of disappointed, which, like I said, I'm still not exactly sure why, but I think it was not what I was hoping for fully. And it felt kind of maybe disjointed or unfinished or something. I'm not sure. I wanted something more, and I wanted something different. So for Deva Sobel's The Planets, I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. So that's it. That's what I read for the month of June, and I actually felt like that was a pretty good stack of books. I don't always get that much time to read at this point, or my reading can be really interrupted since I have 2 little boys that kind of take up a little bit of my time. But that was 7 books, so that was a pretty good stack for the month of June. So I hope you enjoyed my video today, my June reading wrap-up, and if you have comments or questions or opinions on any of the books that I read, leave me some comments below. Or if you disagreed with any of my opinions, you know, let me know. Like, what did you like about the books that maybe I didn't? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.